everyone, welcome back to the channel. A little bit different this one because there's a camera now. Hello! Not only do you get to see what's going on the screen, you now get to feast your eyes on this. So my sincerest apologies for that. But that's not the only difference, because up until this point I've been using FL Studio. But now I've bought a new DAW. It's Pro Tools. Is it Ableton? Is it Reaper? Drum roll please. It's Cubase! Yay! I've been using this for a couple of months now and it is absolutely fantastic. I really like the way it works. It's a little different to FL Studio, and that's what this video is going to be about. And we're going to jump into FL Studio and do a little thing in terms of loading up instruments and playing things in, copy and pasting, just basic little things, and then we'll come back into Cubase and do the exact same thing. So let's jump into FL Studio. So here we are in FL Studio. This is a completely blank template, nothing going on in it, completely empty, default state, all that. So how do we start inputting sounds and instruments? Well, you need to bring up the channel rack first, and that's this little button here with the 3 lines and the 3 little dots. You can click on that, or you can press F6 and up it comes. And there's a sampler already loaded up in this, but that's just a default thing. It's really useful though. You can just drag in audio clips and you can change the pitch of them and reverse them and all that kind of cool sound design stuff. And also these little buttons here, if you left click on them it turns them on, right click turns them off. This is a step sequencer and it's really useful. It's really cool for putting beats together really quickly. I'll just give you a quick example. Let's just bring in a kick drum, that'll do. We'll just drag that in there and we'll get a snare next. And yeah, that'll do. I'm going to say I'm not going to go in depth with this, that's not the point of this video, but each of these little buttons represents a beat and a bar over 16 beats. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. So a kick is usually always on 1 and 3, and a snare's on 2 and 4. So if we hit play, or push this little button, get a basic little beat going. So it's really quick to put beats together. But that's, again, that's not the point of this video. So how do we load up instruments? Well, you can click this little plus symbol on the channel rack, and here is all your instruments that you've got in FL Studio. If you click more plugins, it will give you all your third-party plugins, just everything that you've got. But I tend to, whoops, put a little pattern in there. I tend to go over to this list, go to plugin database, and this is just where all my stuff that I like to use is always kept. So let's just bring in a piano. I'll just stick that in there. And we'll just add in some chords just now, just as a quick example. So go for A minor, G major, and F major, that'll do. So to put these sounds in, to record it in, we have to have a pattern ready to go. And there is one there because it's just automatically there because it's in its default state. So let's just hit record and put it in. 3, 4, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Right, we've got some chords in now. Now let's say we want to add something else in there. We want to add some strings, like some arpeggios. So first we need to bring up the channel rack again, and I'll just go into, let's just grab labs, put that in there. And where is our strings? So loads of strings here. Where's all my strings gone? There they are. Some strings, right, let's just grab some short notes. That'll do. And now, if we hit record just now, it's going to overwrite this pattern up here. So all we have to do is create a new one. So up here, this little plus symbol next to where it says pattern 1, click on that, and you can name it if you like. We're not going to bother naming anything just now, so just hit a little tick box, and that's it. Brand new pattern selected. Now anything we play is going to be recorded into this pattern. So let's just do a little, let's just play along just now. That'll do. Nice and simple. There we go. Easy peasy. Now we'll just quantize that. Now, let's say we want that string arpeggio to be doubled on another instrument. Let's just go with BBC Symphony Orchestra. And we'll put it on brass. Yeah, trombones, that'll do. So, short notes on there. Now we could just play it in, no problem, but we just want to copy that and paste it straight into that. So we need to create a new pattern again for the trombones. There we go, that's it created. Now, I need to go into this string pattern. If I double click on it, the piano roll will come up. But pattern 3 has now disappeared. I don't know why it does that, it just does. I know there has been updates for FL Studio and I haven't installed them, so this issue may have been fixed. I don't know, it's always done that. So what you need to do first is copy all of this. We can hold Control and press A, and that selects everything within this pattern. And then hold Control and press C, and that's copied it. Come out of that, then create a new pattern. Make sure your instrument you want to copy it to, which is the trombone, is active. And then just hit this little arrow, and that brings up the piano roll for that instrument. Now we hold Control and press V, and now it's copied in. So if we hit play, we'll need to bring this pattern in first. If we hit play, trombones and strings should be playing the exact same thing. Yes, they are. There we go. And that's how we copy and paste things. But if I now bring up the mixer and I press play, all the sound is coming through the master channel. But I want all of these sounds to come through in individual channels. So what you have to do is see this little grey box next to each instrument. If you move the mouse wheel up, or you can type it in, it's up to yourself, move it up, and now that goes to channel 1. Move this one up to 2, that puts it in channel 2, move this up to 3, and now it's in channel 3. So if we play it, all those sounds should be coming through individual channels. There we go. So that's how we start inputting instruments from a blank template, and just to start getting things going in FL Studio. Now let's jump into Cubase and do the exact same thing. Okay, so here we are in Cubase, blank template. Well, not quite a blank template, because as you can see, I've loaded up labs. Now the only reason for that is because I'm using that as a MIDI click instead of using the audio click in Cubase, because the one in Cubase is quite ear piercing, especially when you've got headphones on. So I've just left that as a hi-hat. 3, 4, it's just a lot nicer on the ears. So what did we do in FL Studio? We loaded up a piano to start with. So all we need to do for that is if we right click on this big grey box underneath where it says labs, and up comes a list of all the different track types that you can use in Cubase, and there's a lot. So we want to use an instrument track for this. Oh, and there it is, Django Box Piano. So we just click on that, and there it is. Lovely. Now, we don't need to bother with creating patterns or anything like that in Cubase. It's just, this is it, ready to go. So if I hit record, 2, 3, 4, and do that A minor, G, and then the F. Okay, so there we go. That's that done. So after that, I believe we added in some strings, and it was from labs, wasn't it? So again, right click on this, click on instrument track, and then click on the little arrow. Let's go down and find labs. There it is. Add track. And we used our strings. Where are they? There they are. Short strings, I believe. Yes. We'll load them up. And it was just a little arpeggio. And again, don't need to create any patterns or anything like that. Just hit record and away you go. And that was it. And then we doubled that with a trombone. So let's just right click again, add an instrument track, and I think it was in BBC Symphony Orchestra, wasn't it? Yeah, so we'll load that up. Right, and here we are. So let's click on the Staticissimo or short notes. And again, you could just play it in, but instead of creating a new, like in FL Studio, you had to create a new pattern, or no, you didn't. You had to click on the thing you wanted to copy it, then click on the instrument you want to copy it to, create a new pattern, and then paste it. You don't need to do that in Cubase. We just have to make sure the thing we want to copy is highlighted like this. Hold Control and press C, and that's copied. And then make sure the instrument that you want to copy it to is highlighted in white, which in this case is this one. Then hold Control and just press V. And now it should be done. It's a little out of time, but that doesn't matter. And it's so just look at how much quicker it was to do that in Cubase than what it was in FL Studio. So much quicker. And then we also done the routing to the mixer as well. But if you look in Cubase, I think if you press F3, the mixer comes up. Everything is already there. You don't need to route things to any channels. As soon as you create a new track, so an audio track, mono, and then if I bring up the mixer, there it is. It automatically creates it for you. So, in conclusion, what's better? Doesn't matter what's better. This isn't a battle of the DAWs or anything like that. They're both really, really good. Like I say, I've been using Cubase for a couple of months now, so I'm not 100% fluent in it yet. There may be a little step sequencer in there somewhere, and I've just not found it. But you know, you can still do beat making in Cubase. You've got a piano roll, you can program drums and all that kind of stuff. But it's more suited to the kind of thing that I like to do with orchestral music, I would say, and it's great for working with picture more than what FL Studio is. You can do it in FL Studio, but it's better in Cubase, I would say. It's got that. If this is a battle of the DAWs, if you like, Cubase probably has that over FL Studio, but with beat making, FL Studio's got that over Cubase. But at the end of the day, it's just whatever your personal preference is, whatever floats your boat kind of thing with both of them. One thing I will say, you may have noticed this when I was loading up instruments. If I just add an instrument track, you'll notice that FL Studio is there. That's because FL Studio can be used as a plugin within another DAW. So if there's maybe certain instruments or other plugins within FL Studio that are stock plugins that you can't use in another DAW, this is a way that you can use it. So it's like the little one Flex that's in FL Studio, which has got some really, really great synth sounds. You can then use that if you launch FL Studio within Cubase. You can record it into Cubase while you're playing it in FL Studio. But the only downside to that is it's quite CPU heavy because you're using two DAWs at the same time. I've not quite figured out how to do it yet, but I'll figure it out, and I'll maybe do a little video on how to do that in the near future. But like I say, CPU heavy, so you have quite a powerful machine to do that properly. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Maybe you're thinking about moving from FL Studio to Cubase or Pro Tools or something. This is maybe giving you a little bit of an insight as to how other DAWs are different to FL Studio. But it's by no means a case of Cubase is better than FL Studio or FL Studio is better than Cubase. It really all comes down to your personal preference and how you like to work. But that's basically the workflow, of the basic workflow of each of these two DAWs. So thanks again for watching, everyone. Remember to like and subscribe and ring the little bell. I will be back very soon with doing some more writing music, off the cuff kind of stuff, just coming up with ideas. I'll be back with doing that kind of stuff very, very soon. So thanks again for watching. Cheers. Bye bye.